Surging Omicron cases, mounting fear. Looming third wave and 1.8 lakh cases a day. Sweeping COVID curbs are back. Ban on public revelry and gatherings. Your New Year plans set to go haywire. Better stay safe than sorry. No more party यूं ही चलेगी. Year-end monster surge scare.
With India's Omicron tally crossing the 200 mark, sources have revealed that Prime Minister Modi is going to be chairing a meeting to review the COVID situation tomorrow. The centre has already issued directive to the states. In a letter to the states, Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has asked the states to step up the measures to contain the spread of the Omicron variant of COVID-19. The centre has advised the states to activate war rooms, impose night curfews if necessary, carry out door-to-door searches. The centre has also asked the states to enforce home isolation and accelerate measures to ensure 100% vaccination. Meanwhile, Rahul Gandhi has also hit out the centre, questioned the centre's vaccination policy. He has also questioned when will the government begin administering booster doses. Meanwhile, Jammu, Kashmir, Odisha have recorded the first cases of the Omicron variant yesterday. The potentially contagious strain is now reaching 14 states and union territories in total. The advisory is coming at a time when states like Karnataka, Maharashtra, Goa, Delhi have already imposed stringent measures ahead of the New Year festivities. All right, our battery of reporters are joining us from all across the country. So we've got you covered, whichever part of the country you're tuning in from. Mohit is joining us from Delhi. Saurabh Akhtania is joining us from Mumbai. Pankaj is joining us from Panaji in Goa. Karthik is joining us from Bengaluru in Karnataka. Let's first start off with the national capital. Mohit, ahead of the New Year festivities, there are guidelines that are given out by the centre to various state governments, but how is the enforcement on ground?
Well, Cheti, to start with, the Prime Minister is already stated to take a review meeting tomorrow, and that's precisely because, the government wants to be on top of things, and, the things that are going to be discussed would include as to how to tackle the Omicron virus or the variant of the COVID as well. Now, there have been a lot of concerns. The centre has already issued measures to the states asking them to ensure that if needed, war room needs to be set up. There needs to be night curfew as well, and this given the fact that this is the festive season and how the people have also started to take a rather lax attitude towards the COVID, the coronavirus, and we've seen masks being taken off. We've seen people not maintaining social distancing, or rather flocking not just markets but various restaurants and other places where there have been a lot of social gatherings. All of this needs to be taken into account, and that's precisely why the Prime Minister is going to be chairing the meet tomorrow. The idea is to try and understand and to ensure that India does not once again face the havoc that was wreaked in by the second wave of COVID, and secondly, that if at all things come to that, India is better prepared. There are things in place, and ultimately it's the people who really do not have to pay the price, something that we saw during the second wave. Back to you.
Absolutely. I request all our reporters to stay on with us. We're getting you a blanket coverage on this. We've got you covered every angle possible as far as the story is concerned is covered. Our reporters are requested to stay on with us as the Omicron tally has risen to 200 in the country. Not only Goa, but other parts of the country are also seeing a huge tourist influx. For them, despite Omicron, it is party time as usual. Here is a report by Milan Sharma.
If you are planning to take a mini vacation this year end, you must know this. No matter which tourist destination in India you go to, Omicron could follow you. Tourists are thronging vacation destinations with a vengeance. Preparations for the Christmas and New Year are underway. Hotel and restaurants are overbooked already.
आज देख रहा हूँ काफ़ी अच्छे टूरिस्ट हैं, जोशीमठ में भी है और औली में भी है। अब बर्फ़ का इंतज़ार है। उम्मीद है कि जो है अगले हफ्ते एक मौसम बन रहा है, जैसे जानकारी है 23 तारीख से। उम्मीद है कि अच्छी बर्फ़ गिरेगी और पर्यटकों का आना जाना भी काफ़ी अच्छा रहेगा।
Everyone has dropped their guard as it appears, and people even becoming unafraid.
टूरिस्ट काफ़ी आएंगे 24-25 से लगभग जनवरी फर्स्ट वीक तक पैक ही है.
In hill town of Manali, last week witnessed more than 7,000 tourists, virtually no one following basic COVID protocols and almost no one wearing a mandatory mask.
मेरे को लगता नहीं भाई कोरोना अभी रहा है नहीं रहा है, क्योंकि इतनी भीड़ होनी नहीं चाहिए, वरना फिर अपना भाई अगर कोरोना है तो बंद ही कर देना चाहिए, या तो सब कुछ या फिर अपना ओपन रहो सिस्टम.
आपने भी मास्क नहीं पहना है.
इंजॉय करें या मास्क डालें?
ये तो गवर्नमेंट को देखना चाहिए था इस चीज़ के बारे में. तो हम तो मास्क ऑलरेडी हमारी पॉकेट में भी है, हमने यहाँ पे आके एंजॉय करना था इसलिए हमने उतारा है.
हमको किसी के चेहरे पे दिखा नहीं इसलिए हमने नहीं पहना ना, हम लोग लाए सब लोग जेब में रख रखे.
The authorities are facing an unfolding nightmare.
पुलिस इंश्योर करवाएगी कि हर आदमी जो है मास्क पहना हो और जहां तक संभव हो सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का भी पालन करे. तो कोरोना के जो गाइडलाइंस हैं उनका भी सख्ती से पालन किया जाएगा.
While the guard has been dropped in the hills, curbs like Section 144 till midnight for December 31st has dampened the party mood in Mumbai. The usual excitement is missing with COVID-19 around us and yet again playing a spoil sport. The rising Omicron numbers leaving the government worried. Late night parties, gathering at the promenade or along the beaches has now been banned. The hotel and restaurant industry is disappointed, staring at a big loss of business in another year.
Definitely we are disappointed, we are sad, but then again it's a collective responsibility of everyone. We hope that next year will be better than this, but as of now we intend to follow everything very seriously.
First, Section 144 was imposed in the city till the midnight of 31st December. And now the BMC chief has himself issued a note warning citizens of strict action if COVID norms are not followed. He has gone on to the extent of warning even the celebrities if rules are not followed. COVID situation in Mumbai remains grim and the festive season is going to test the administration.
National capital Delhi has also put a bar on all types of big public gatherings, relegating festivities to the back burner till the 1st of January.
Whether it's a tourist destination or a city market, the crowds are swelling ahead of the year end. But we are inviting the new variant as well as COVID cases if we don't follow COVID appropriate behavior. With Anup in New Delhi, this is Milan Sharma for India Today.
Well, on one hand, you have the centre taking stock of the situation. On the other, you also have states who are taking their own measures. There have been restrictions in place. And on the other hand, there have been campaigns also launched once again in order to not only give out awareness, but at the same time ensure that India does not once again faces something that we faced during the second wave. Right now, we'll cut across to our correspondent from Mumbai. Right now, Saurabh, it's over to you. What exactly is the situation? What exactly is happening in Maharashtra? What can you tell us?
So, well, from Maharashtra, we see there are the highest number of Omicron cases in the state of Maharashtra. The total number of Omicron cases is 65. The good thing is that 35 patients have already been discharged after that RT-PCR report came negative. But let me tell you, in last 24 hours, over 11 cases of Omicron have been detected. And the major concern right now is the city of Mumbai, where out of 11, 8 cases are from Mumbai. Now, Mumbai was all prepared for its party. The 31st party is known for the beachside party, the rooftop party, the open places, the pubs and the restaurant. The establishments were all overbooked. But what happened is, as the fear and the cases of Omicron rise, the BMC came up with the guidelines. What now they are saying that the closed establishments where this party will take place, only 50% of crowd will be allowed. Now for the open spaces, like the open area where this all DJ party and everything happens, so at that places only 25% of crowd will be allowed. Now again there is a restriction. If at any event there are crowd of over 200 100 people, then you need to take a special permission. And also, the officials have asked that the Mumbai police and the BMC official do a surprise check. So this is very important. A special team have been made who will be going to all these events to get a surprise check. And the mask are not properly worn, and there is no proper 6 feet of distances followed, no COVID protocols are followed. Then strict action will be taken. So clearly we are saying the hotel industry, the establishment are very much upset that because this is the third year that the parties are actually not happening as they wanted, because this is the money making time. Another very important thing which we would like to tell you is that schools are recently opened in the state of Maharashtra, but now the government officials are saying that if continues rise in the Omicron cases, then they are actually thinking about to shut down the school once again. So Omicron is again creating lot of problem. The government is saying and the BMC is saying that they are continuously reviewing the situation. If the cases continues to rise, then the most stricter curbs will be imposed in the city of Mumbai and as well as Maharashtra.
All right, so I'm in Goa, and as we all know that Mumbai and Goa are two favorite destinations of youngsters. But this time around, as we know, that Section 144 has been imposed in Mumbai till the midnight of 31st December. And I've been myself in Goa for the last couple of days. I've visited many areas. What I have noticed is that the party scene has now shifted from Mumbai to Goa. And it's not just the people and the youngsters from Mumbai or various parts of Maharashtra that's coming to Goa. There are people who are coming from the nearby states of Gujarat, Rajasthan as well. Now, people maintain that the perception that they have is they are doubly vaccinated and hence they are letting their guards down. Many people feel since they are in an open area in the beaches, they need not wear masks. But the medical experts say that this perception is totally wrong and this behavioral change or behavioral pattern could prove dangerous. Now, the problem areas that I find in Goa are, of course, the beaches in the evening time, because in the evening time, the beaches are, absolutely jam-packed. And secondly, the marketplaces, which are filled to capacity mostly in the evening time. Otherwise, in the hotels, what I've noticed is that COVID-appropriate behavior is being followed. A set of guidelines have been issued to various hotels as well. At the airport as well, a certificate is seen whether you are doubly vaccinated or not. But the beaches are the biggest problem areas where there is no COVID-appropriate behavior. Most of the people that I saw at various beaches are not following the rule. But what we saw on ground zero, we prepared a story for our viewers. Have a look to what we noticed.
Goa, India's favorite destination for tourists ringing in the new year. With no strict restrictions for public places, beaches and hotels, the state is seeing large crowds with few takers for COVID-appropriate behavior. Preeti and Chaitanya, who recently got married, zeroed in on Goa for their honeymoon. Preeti, who hails from Maharashtra, says she felt Goa would be the best place. She doesn't bother much about the COVID situation for now, choosing to repose faith in masks.
Just for the beaches first of all, and second for the peace of Goa. Like we just wanted to spend some time like in the peace of these beaches and the overall nature. So that's the only reason.
Since the imposition of Section 144 in Mumbai, a large number of tourists are now coming to Goa, but COVID-appropriate behavior has gone for a toss.
Certainly we will implement state guidelines, central guideline, health ministry. We will coordinate with other agencies.
Any restrictions are coming from state government, sir?
So far I am not aware. Whatever will come, that we will implement.
The government is sounding the alarm bells.
सभी ने प्रिकॉशंस लेना चाहिए. अभी भी यानी कोविड के वास्ते प्रिकॉशंस लेना बाकी है, इसलिए मेरी कहना है कि जो यहाँ पे टूरिस्ट आते हैं उन्होंने मास्क यूज़ करना, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन करना, यही करना जरूरी.
But hear out what flimsy excuse mask violators give.
मेरे दोनों वैक्सीन लगा रखी है मैंने, बट मतलब मास्क का भी उपयोग करता हूँ मैं. बट अभी यहाँ पर बीच पे अभी मैंने थोड़ा सा एंजॉयमेंट कर रहा था, इसलिए मैंने निकाल दिया.
घूमना अच्छा लगता है. हम हर साल कहीं ना कहीं जाते हैं घूमने के लिए, तो यहाँ पे हम आए घूमने के लिए. यहाँ बहुत अच्छा लगा हमें. और कोविड की आप कहें तो कोविड में कोई वैसे कोई हमारे यहाँ पे इतना ज्यादा मतलब कुछ कोविड का इतना है नहीं है.
A large number of people have chosen Goa as their favorite destination to welcome Christmas and New Year's. Are there any COVID restrictions in place? The local policemen say no. Are the people abiding by COVID appropriate behavior? Unfortunately, a large section is not applying by or subjecting themselves to COVID appropriate behavior. I have had a word with many people and they say the COVID numbers are in control here. They don't see any guidelines or restrictions or any authorities picking them up.
At the famous Anjana beach too, no one seemed to care much for COVID appropriate behavior. Hotel owners say they haven't received any guidelines from the government yet.
गाइडलाइंस हमें होटल को दिया नहीं गया है, पर गवर्नमेंट ने जो बोला है रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस वो हिसाब से ही हम लोग गेस्ट को एंट्री देते हैं. हम उनका वैक्सीनेशन हुआ है कि नहीं चेक करते हैं और उनको मास्क पहनना कंपलसरी करते हैं. यही हम लोग फिलहाल तो हम लोग ये कर रहे हैं.
The COVID scenario is yet to impact business in Goa. Travel experts say they are well placed for the festive season. Bookings are only rising for next month in the middle of weddings, not just from India, but foreign destinations as well.
We are welcome tourists for 31st also. But one thing is very clear that even people has to understand that we are living in the COVID world and COVID appropriate behavior is a way forward.
Medical experts warn that such callousness could cost dear.
As 25th December and 31st are coming close, people are trying to go out on destinations to celebrate these two occasions. But there is a word of caution because this variant has been found to be more infectious than the previous. One person can infect more than 40 and whole India can get affected in 4 weeks.
Chief Minister of Goa has appealed to the people and tourists to wear masks at public places and abide by COVID appropriate behavior. With camera person Vaibhav Kangutkar, this is Pankaj Upadhyay in Goa, reporting for India Today. So Goa, as I said, is brimming with life. It's ready for party, for Christmas and to welcome the New Year. But the authorities here maintain if the central government or the health ministry issues some guidelines, some specific guidelines for Goa, then they would be all the more willing to issue those guidelines. But for now, there aren't any guidelines in place for the beaches or the marketplace as such. What that means is that most of the hotels are full. That in turn means that the restaurant business is running good, the hotel business is running good, the shack owners are really very, very happy. And as more and more people come in from Maharashtra and nearby states, one can well imagine what's going to happen during Christmas and New Year's. So that's what's happening in Goa. No strict restrictions in place. The authorities here say they will listen to what the central government says, and the hotels are running jam-packed. Prices of hotels and the various vehicular activities here are soaring sky high, but that is not stopping the tourists from coming to Goa. So that's the story from Goa. But what's happening in Bangalore now? I have my colleague Karthik in Bangalore. Karthik, help us understand what's happening in Bangalore. What's the scene there?
Well, Pankaj, as far as Bengaluru is concerned, yesterday Karnataka Chief Minister Mr. Basuraj Bommai has issued strict guidelines that needs to be followed for New Year. That is starting from December 30th to January 2nd. He has ordered a complete ban on large gatherings, especially for New Year, because Bengaluru is known for its nightlife and also the IT crowd is known to celebrate New Year in a very grand manner. So keeping this in mind and to ensure that such large gatherings don't turn out to be COVID clusters, the Karnataka Chief Minister has issued strict guidelines and therefore large gatherings have been banned from December 30th to January 2nd. And he's also issued guidelines for restaurants and pubs, in which there will be only 50% capacity allowed in restaurants and pubs for the New Year celebrations. And also, all the staff that are present in restaurants and pubs should be double vaccinated. Now, this is the guidelines that's been issued by the Karnataka government. Now, as far as Omicron cases in Karnataka is concerned, so far there have been 19 cases of Omicron cases that have been recorded in the state. and a large part of them have been recorded in Bengaluru, and most of these cases have been divided into 6 districts that consist of Bengaluru, Belagavi, Udupi, and also Dharwad and Dakshina Kannada district. Now, as far as the issue the BBMP or the Bengaluru municipal body is concerned, they've also issued guidelines where patients who are coming with SARI and ILI cases to the OPD should be tested for COVID mandatorily. Now, as for Karnataka is not leaving any stone unturned as far as to ensuring that these New Year celebrations don't turn out to be COVID clusters. Back to you, Chetri.
All right, I'm going to be letting all our reporters go for the moment. Thank you so much for bringing us those ground reports. So whichever part of the country you are in, we have you covered. The reporters have brought you up to speed with every angle and every development on the story. And We at India Today will continue tracking all the developments on the Omicron front very closely. Now, Goa, the favorite tourist destination during Christmas and New Year, is now seeing a huge influx of tourists. But what's sad is the fact that most tourists aren't paying heed to COVID norms at a time when Omicron threat looms large. Here's a report by Pankaj Upadhyay.
Goa, India's favorite destination for tourists ringing in the new year. With no strict restrictions for public places, beaches and hotels, the state is seeing large crowds with few takers for COVID-appropriate behavior. Preeti and Chaitanya, who recently got married, zeroed in on Goa for their honeymoon. Preeti, who hails from Maharashtra, says she felt Goa would be the best place. She doesn't bother much about the COVID situation for now, choosing to repose faith in masks.
Just for the beaches first of all, and second for the peace of Goa. Like we just wanted to spend some time like in the peace of these beaches and the overall nature. So that's the only reason.
Since the imposition of Section 144 in Mumbai, a large number of tourists are now coming to Goa, but COVID-appropriate behavior has gone for a toss.
Certainly we will implement state guidelines, central guideline, health ministry. We will coordinate with other agencies.
Any restrictions are coming from state government, sir?
So far I am not aware. Whatever will come, that we will implement.
The government is sounding the alarm bells.
सभी ने प्रिकॉशंस लेना चाहिए. अभी भी यानी कोविड के वास्ते प्रिकॉशंस लेना बाकी है, इसलिए मेरी कहना है कि जो यहाँ पे टूरिस्ट आते हैं उन्होंने मास्क यूज़ करना, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन करना, यही करना जरूरी.
But hear out what flimsy excuse mask violators give.
मेरे दोनों वैक्सीन लगा रखी है मैंने, बट मतलब मास्क का भी उपयोग करता हूँ मैं. बट अभी यहाँ पर बीच पे अभी मैंने थोड़ा सा एंजॉयमेंट कर रहा था, इसलिए मैंने निकाल दिया.
घूमना अच्छा लगता है. हम हर साल कहीं ना कहीं जाते हैं घूमने के लिए, तो यहाँ पे हम आए घूमने के लिए. यहाँ बहुत अच्छा लगा हमें. और कोविड की आप कहें तो कोविड में कोई हमारे यहाँ पे इतना ज्यादा मतलब कुछ कोविड का इतना है नहीं है.
Omicron-led third wave likely to hit India by February. This bone-chilling warning by experts has once again put things in perspective. That pandemic is not over as yet. Here's a detailed report.
When will the third wave hit India? And how bad will it be? These are the few questions baffling epidemiologists for a while now. Latest projections by the head of COVID Supermodel Committee, Vidya Sagar, and IIT Kanpur Professor Manindra Agarwal suggest the third wave may unfold by February. The projections suggest India is likely to witness around 1.5 to 1.8 lakh cases every day by the end of February. The only silver lining in all this is that this wave is likely to be less severe than the second wave that was driven by the Delta variant. The fall in cases after hitting the peak is also expected to be quick. Projections also suggest that hospitalization will be low since a significant number of Indians will be fully vaccinated by then.
The most pessimistic scenario, which is you have totally lost any vaccine protection and the natural immunity due to prior exposure to Delta is eroding very quickly. We foresee a peak of something like 1.5 to 1.8 lakh cases per day, happening somewhere towards the end of February.
Okay. These projections are made keeping in mind the Omicron threat. In South Africa, the COVID cases, after peaking in mid-December, are seeing a sharp decline. The average daily deaths were less than 50 during the peak.
A very, very sharp peak, very quick rise followed by very sharp decline. Again, as Professor Agrawal has pointed out, we can look at South Africa as a model. They had peaked in just under 3 weeks. And now the number of daily cases in South Africa is 33% lower than the peak. So that means a sharp drop in cases in just 1 week's time from the peak.
But with Omicron cases rising to over 200 in the country and over 5,000 new infections being reported on Tuesday, the picture can change rather quickly. With Sneha Murdani, Bureau Report, India Today.